The 2017 season is in the books for Terracross. A season of door-to-door, bone-jarring action from 4 different championship classes. The feisty ladies of the Fly Racing Pro Women's class. The true grit of the Pro-Am Rzr Xps, the Sedona Tire Celebrity X Turbo, and the pros in their Odyssey Battery Turbo 1000s who left everything on the track. Courses and competitors were not always kind, but in the end, true champions rose to the top. This is the 2017 Terracross Championship. Hello and welcome everyone to the WPS Fly Racing 2017 Terracross recap presented by Polaris Rzr, and we go back to where it all started, North Branch, Minnesota, and Heydays, the biggest snowmobile event in the world, held in the summer in a field in Minnesota. Tess Sewell along with Grant Langston bringing you all the action from this season. And wow, at Heydays, the heat started early with the Fly Racing Pro Women's class, where competition started right from the get-go.
Yeah, 2 of our favorites probably going for this championship, Jolene and Jamie Lubert. Sarah Price in there on row 1. No, she could always get involved. But you'd probably have to say, I think a lot of people had Jolene Van Voot picked as the champion going into this series. Race 1 underway. She got out front quite quickly there, getting around Sarah Price. See Jamie Lubert in the background. This track was really good. The woman really airing it over these big jumps. So Sarah Price drove strong early in the race. Jamie Lubert, her brother, builds the tracks. Things were calm early in the race. And then Kayla Savage, she would have a mechanical forcing out of this one.
Addison Nibel, in her first race in Terracross, put in a valiant effort, but this really was a 3-way race. Van Voot, Price, and Lubert, and look at this. Price making a mistake, riding right into the back of Jolene Van Voot on the Sedona Tire Ripsaw Ridge.
Then she has to have another stab at it. That could have been a lot worse. Probably could have been tipped over backwards, but she was able to carry on. And then the battle would continue for second place between Lubert and Price. Price trying the outside, Lubert keeping it clean up the inside, but nobody was able to catch Jolene Van Voot on day 1. Jamie Lubert was able to come through, take second, and a close, hard-fought third for Sarah Price.
An absolutely fantastic race for Jolene Van Voot to start out her season, winning the first Terracross race in North Branch, and she was down with Georgia Lindsay.
I kind of have more of a past of crashing and riding really kind of crazy and erratic, and I've been able to kind of bring my riding down and be calm, and I focus more on my breathing, taking the smooth lines, not getting too upset about people being around me, and that was actually my first ever win in Terracross.
Jolene Van Voot hoping for a repeat in race number 2, but Jamie Lubert was on pole position for this race.
Yeah, she got out to a good jump. Jolene a little bit further back in the pack. She would be trying to make her way through. Lubert had the lead early. Saw Jolene try the inside, but that outside momentum enables Lubert, who makes a big mistake. And we had mentioned that during the live event at how well Jolene was able to avoid that. I mean, she really was so close. You would have thought she would have pushed Lubert over there, but great reaction timing, saved it there. And Sarah Price would get in the action. She does a, well, great executed block pass, gets the drive, and was able to get around Lubert.
Sarah Price driving aggressively through all of the events when we were out at Heydays. And here really challenging both Jamie Lubert and Jolene Van Voot And unfortunately, Kayla Savage, 2 for 2 out of the race again with a mechanical. But check out the action here. Jamie Lubert fighting her way through the middle, putting pressure on Jolene Van Vught.
Yeah, she did there. You see here, got around Sarah Price after their restart. Great battle for the lead. And then this happened. Right there, Jolene had everything going in her way. A very hard, aggressive landing on that front end. So bent up, she was forced out of the race. See the Odyssey battery on board showing you the disappointment. We could see it on her face. Because that really then opened the door for Jamie Lubert, who was just able to hold on from Sarah Price. Great race for second there.
And there you see it. Jamie Lubert took the win over Sarah Price. Jolene had to settle for fourth. Georgia caught up with Jamie.
Fun racing out here this weekend. The track is awesome. Huge jumps, a lot of carnage going on, and the women's class is the one to watch right at the moment.
With pro women in the books, we'll now turn to our Pro-Am Rzr Xp 1000 when we return to Terracross.
Terracross on CBS Sports Network is sponsored by Polaris Rzr. Fuel your freedom. By FlyRacing.com. And by Lucas Oil. Made in America, sold to the world.
Welcome back, everyone, to the WPS Fly Racing 2017 Terracross recap presented by Polaris Rzr. Tess Sewell, Grant Langston, and Georgia Lindsay. We're bringing you all the action that happened right now from North Branch, Minnesota, and the Heydays event. Coming up next, our Pro-Am Rzr Xp 1000 class was on track after enjoying themselves some hillbilly fries to get fueled up for this race, Grant.
Oh, there was tons to do out here. Big crowd. This is a big event, and they really enjoyed their Terracross action. Also some great weather and great racing to go with it. Darren Meath on pole, Ross Robinson there alongside him. Row 2, you had Andy Ives, Jason Plouffe, and Jeff Skase.
And Andy Ives, really, he had showed himself not as well as he should in qualifying, but a problem there for Ross Robinson off the start line allowed Ives to just thread his way through.
Yeah, out early, Darren Meath got out front, but then you see him get a little bit stuck there. He too would have a mechanical. So it seemed like round one of the series, several mechanicals. This track was pretty tough.
And there you see the fight there between Jeff Skase and Jason Plouffe. And a tough, tough day for Jeff Skase coming over onto his side. And look at this Lucas Oil on board for Skase.
Yeah, just trying to turn down a little tighter there. He would go over, then Ross Robinson would leave the track. It's a battle of attrition out there, and a battle up front as these guys were going at it. Ives just able to make that work. Great line as he goes through the Sedona Tire Ripsaw Ridge. A lot of action through there throughout the weekend.
And in the end, it would be Andy Ives taking his first win of the season. The North Branch, Minnesota local, who is an engineer for Polaris, takes a great win. Our very own Georgia Lindsay caught up with Andy.
I'm a little out of breath, a little winded. It was kind of dicey there for a while. Guys are tipping over and all that kind of stuff. So we'll take some notes from this round, and we'll head into the afternoon here and have some more fun.
The second race of the weekend for our Pro-Ams, Skase and Plouffe on the front row.
Yeah, good start around the outside for Plouffe, but then spectacular rollover there. Take a look at this, just sticks that front end, rebounds over the logs, almost was able to do a full front flip.
Plouffe doing the freestyle. Darren Meath having problem in the Fox Proving Grounds, but an even bigger problem coming up for a challenge Darren Meath later as they went into the Sedona Tire Ripsaw Ridge.
Yeah, just unfortunate there, two vehicles coming together. Meath coming out the worst on that one. Well, you could also throw a little bit of blame potentially to Plouffe for coming over a little bit. Definitely not intentional. Unfortunately, that's racing.
And meanwhile, Andy Ives, the number 4 black and orange machine, takes another checkered flag, making it 2 for 2 for his weekend in his hometown of North Branch, Minnesota. And there you see it, Ives over Robinson over Skase, and Ives again caught up with Georgia.
Yeah, the track was changing a little bit, so we were changing up our lines a little bit at the end, and the guys are coming.
Andy Ives looking good for the Pro-Ams, but then the Sedona Tire Celebrity X Turbo class took to the track, and this is the one that all of the fans love to line up and watch.
Especially when you got people like Damon Bradshaw in there. He's got a long history, motocross, Monster Jam. Brett Turcotte on row 1. Hubert Rowland behind him.
Everyone's favorite redneck, Hubert Rowland in the second row, but look at Damon Bradshaw's start in the black and red, number 45.
Yeah, Bradshaw got off strong in the beginning as they see the drivers trying to negotiate through the Ripsaw Ridge, and Bradshaw just catching the back there of Hubert Rowland. So just a chain reaction. See Hubert slow down a little bit. Bradshaw just clipped the wheel, so as he jumped out there, threw over. So the beast from the east had the pace, but unfortunately was upside down early.
Over the step up, step down, Hubert Rowland passes Brett Turcotte coming through the Sedona Tire Ripsaw Ridge. And Hubert really did turn on the afterburners for a while until that.
Yeah, he looked good there. And then right there, just 2 drivers going for the same piece of real estate. Surprised Hubert left the door open. Maybe he didn't realize that Turcotte was as close, and then he would be out of the race with the mechanical. So Hubert looked good, but unfortunately not able to get it done. But Brett Turcotte, he will take his first win of the season.
And there it is, a snowmobiler from Clearwater, British Columbia, at the biggest snowmobile event in the world, takes the win. Georgia caught up with him.
The buggy ran great, and it's pretty fun out there. So it's really just a big RC car, and we're just out here having a blast.
When we come back, the Celebrity X Turbo continues in the madness at Terracross. You do not want to miss it. Hey everyone, welcome back to the WPS Fly Racing 2017 Terracross recap, presented by Polaris Rzr, our wrap-up of the entire Terracross season. Tess Sewell alongside Grant Langston, Georgia Lindsay, who was on track for us all year long. And we started our racing at Heydays, the biggest snowmobile event in the world. 40,000 people in a field in Minnesota, swapping snowmobile parts and who knows what else. We had great racing all season long here. The weather cooperated, and our Celebrity X Turbo class with 1 race in the books. Hubert Rowland, everyone's favorite redneck in the 615, was looking for redemption.
But out front early was Nate Wessel. Great start for him. Getting a little cross-rutted coming through the Fox Proving Grounds. Creating a little bit of havoc back there, but once again, Damon Bradshaw showing the pace all weekend long, but just could not get anything going on board here with Odyssey battery. The look says it all. Disappointment.
Nate Wessel started it out well early, but a lot of unforced errors for Wessel caused all kinds of disaster for him. So unfortunately, Nate Wessel would not get the win he was looking for. But look, Hubert Rowland out in front over the number 16 of Brett Turcotte. The Fox Proving Grounds really working these guys over.
But in the end, Hubert, everyone's favorite redneck, just a little bit too strong. Second place would go to Jim Beaver. Just shows you consistency, keeps you up there. Nate Wessel was able to hold on for a podium. So we'll throw it down to Georgia, who's with our favorite redneck, Hubert.
I mean, of course, it feels awesome to win, but it feels awesome just to be part of Heydays and all the great people behind us, Sedona and Polaris. And my little horse, I mean, yeah, he's fake, but it makes you feel better.
With Hubert and his little horse off the track, it was time for the pros and the Odyssey Battery Turbo 1000 to take to the Terracross course.
These are the big boys, the fast ones. Ronnie Anderson on pole position, James Hill alongside, Jason Lubert just behind, Chet Michelson and Cole Coutu. So Coutu with a little bit of work to be done. It's our Odyssey battery on board with James Hill from Lake Elsinore, California.
and that all-California start line of Hill and Anderson. And what a great start for Ronnie Anderson.
Yeah, he got a good jump there. See the drivers coming through, and a battle was going until Jason Lubert puts her on the side. Seen a couple drivers in that same corner doing that, so obviously a very tricky part of the track. And then obviously if you look at that 21 machine of Cole Coutu, does not look very healthy at this point, but he would keep going for a little while.
You're on board going through the Sedona Tire Ripsaw Ridge with James Hill, who is beating that machine up, while Cole Coutu unfortunately had to withdraw out of the race. And then you see the challenges for Chet Michelson in the E3 machine and Jason Lubert, who was stuck in the middle of the Fox Proving Grounds.
Yeah, Jason Lubert, not the way he wanted to start, but neither for Chet Michelson. Another retirement. He would be out of the race. Looked like he came down hard on that front end.
And here the 991 of Hill being chased down by the number 1 of Jason Lubert, while Ronnie Anderson sails into clean air in front. And the 17-year-old from Riverside, California takes the win. A great win for Anderson over James Hill and Jason Lubert, who fought hard all the way to the finish. Georgia caught up with Ronnie.
Had a lot of fun with all these stock cars, so everyone is equal on an equal playing field. It's all about the driver, so had lots of fun. Thanks to all my sponsors, Walker Evans Racing, Polaris Rzr, South Point, Terracross for putting on this awesome event. Everyone else, thank you.
And in the second race of the weekend, everyone knew Ronnie Anderson was fast, so he had the target on his back.
But it was a great start there from Cole Coutu on the front row. He got out front early. Lubert just ran it in there deep, was able to make a couple passes. See him aggressive through the Walker Evans whoops. Right around the outside. What a beautiful pass by Lubert, just on the gas.
But the story here was Jason Lubert maybe a little too aggressive this weekend. Cole Coutu having some problems. Ronnie Anderson screaming past him on a mistake on the step up, step down.
You see a little bit of a bottle up there and having to take another shot at James Hill. Has a look over his shoulder as we go on board our Odyssey battery. See all the dirt coming in. Jump got wore out. And then Lubert rubbing his racing.
And you see the battle here through the Fox Proving Grounds. James Hill leaving his wheel on the track, and Lubert out of the race. Cole Coutu, in all the carnage, manages to somehow take the win.
That was definitely a race of attrition there. A lot of drivers having issues towards the end there. Ronnie Anderson still able to get a second place. Chet Michelson, he puts it on the podium. We'll send it down to Georgia with a happy Cole Coutu.
Some people went down and made some moves and was able to just run a consistent race and get the win, so couldn't be any more happier. Thank you.
From the sunshine and fields of heydays, we move to ERX MotorPark for the second part of the season, a purpose-built track in Elk River, Minnesota, where weather was one of the biggest factors. And coming up, our fly racing pro women's class take to the ERX track. Welcome back to the WPS Fly Racing 2017 Terracross recap presented by Polaris Rzr. And for the second half of the season, we moved from heydays to the ERX MotorPark, a custom-built race facility carved out of the terrain in Elk River, Minnesota. Tess Sewell, Grant Langston doing the commentary, our very own Georgia Lindsay down on track. Weather playing a big factor at this round as the rain came down hard and the crew worked very, very long hours to get the track ready. The Fly Racing Pro Women's class would be the first to take the track, and these ladies show a perfect marriage of friendship and fierce, fierce racing. Taking on this mud would be no mean feat for Jolene Van Buet, Jamie Lubert, and of course, the young Addison Nibel.
As you look at the starting grid there, Jolene Van Buet on front. That's where she wants to be. And probably her biggest competitor, Jamie Lubert. They do come into this race sharing wins from the first weekend of action. Who would take control of this championship?
Well, in the first race, Jamie Lubert would drive aggressively and get herself to the front of the pack right from the start.
Then you see a little trouble there. That is Amy Hood in the 71. She got a little high-centered there, but meanwhile out front, it was the battle between Lubert and Van Vught. They come together there, but Jolene would get it briefly, and then Michelle Abadi, she would have problems, as we see from the onboard, our Fly Racing onboard. That's never a good shot coming out of that Ripsaw Ridge on her side. But these two just went at it pretty much the entire race. Watch this, a beautiful block pass from Lubert. She runs it wide though. Jolene able to square it up, get the drive, back in the lead.
And with one win each at this point in the season, this was some incredibly fierce racing, swapping the lead again and again, lap after lap, with Jamie Lubert and Jolene Van Vught.
Yeah, these two really did put on a show. As we see a little further back, Amy Hood coming into the shot. She was chasing after Addison Neibel, who would eventually come home in third place.
But the win at this one was all Jamie Lubert in the end. Jolene Van Vught with some problems, having to settle for second place.
Addison Neibel will round out the podium, and we'll send it down to Georgia with our winner.
There's a lot of cars out here breaking in all this mud, but yeah, the women's class had an awesome race out there this weekend.
Race number 2 for the Fly Racing Pro Women's class. Amy Hood in that blue monster machine getting a great start.
And then Shelby Mahone in the 166 was briefly in second place. Hadn't talked about her a whole lot this season. Neibel then sneaks by, and the battle would rage on. Jolene trying to get around the 166 of Shelby Mahone, as well as Lubert getting in the battle. And this was all important because between Lubert and Van Vught, the championship was going to come down between them. And then watch that, just nose picks it there. Michelle Abadi just came in a little too hot here, wondering if maybe she had a brake fade, because she just never really got on the binders very hard, or if she just mistook that jump for somewhere else. But a hard crash would send her out of that one.
So the championship fight raged between the 63 of Jolene Van Vught and the 525 of Jamie Lubert, who looked like she was in trouble but managed to somehow regain her composure to keep the fight alive. Here you see Hood in the 71, Van Vught in the 63, who is trying to get every single point she can out of this race. In the end, it wasn't going to be enough for Jolene Van Vught, but this race, an amazing race for the 18-year-old Addison Neibel, who just raced masterfully through this ERX course.
Someone that gained a lot of speed and a lot of consistency through the season, and then more trouble there for Shelby Mahone. She was trying to avoid Amy Hood, and you just see the two left-hand side wheels roll off the edge of that jump, and the rest is history. That is just an unfortunate situation. Wrong place, wrong time. But Addison Neibel, who's been getting stronger as the season went on, she was trying to hold off a hard-charging Jolene Van Vught, who needed that position to have any hope of winning this championship. And then she had a problem of her own. Thought maybe she was out of the race, but no. She was able to get it refired up. Amy Hood snuck around the outside, but in the end, Addison Neibel, the youngster, just went from strength to strength throughout the season and ends it off on a great note there, taking her first win of the season. Jolene finished second. Amy Hood was third. Jamie Lubert did enough for the championship. But let's send it down to Georgia with Addison.
How happy are you leaving today knowing you've got this first place in your hand?
Very happy.
I'll let you smile and enjoy it. Well done.
And in the points, the story there, all about that fight between Lubert and Van Vught. 3 points is what separated first and second. Jamie Lubert was down with Georgia.
Almost crashed a couple times trying to keep up to the front, but salvaged it and finished and just played it smart. Got the championship.
The women have got their championship done, but now it's time for the Pro-Ams when we come back to ERX Pro-Am Championship.
Terracross on CBS Sports Network is sponsored by TerracrossRacing.com. Affordable entertainment television. by E3 Spark Plugs, born to burn. And by Lucas Oil, made in America, sold to the world.
Welcome back, racing fans, to the WPS Fly Racing 2017 Terracross recap presented by Polaris Rzr. These are our championship rounds from ERX MotorPark. Tessul alongside Grant Langston, Georgia Lindsay down on track, and we're waiting for our Pro-Ams to take to the track. Andy Ives won 2 for 2 coming out of Heydays. Can he hold off the charge here at ERX and get himself a championship?
Well, we'll have to find out. Totally different conditions here. As you can see the track, Andy Ives on pole position, Jason Plouffe alongside, Robinson Dobbs, Josh Herron out there, Drew Schultz. Great, talented field. But vision was definitely going to be an issue, as you could tell, beginning of the weekend after a bit of a flash flood. Andy Ives there straight away going after Jason Plouffe for the lead. This was a sloppy, muddy mess in the beginning, but these guys sliding around the track, they were able to get it done.
And there you see problems for Josh Herron, puts it on the side. And on this track, Andy Ives really was fighting his way all of the way around ERX.
Yeah, he looked good there, but then the battle would rage behind. You see the battle for second. Robinson was able to get around Plouffe. So these guys were having a great time out there, just pinning it through the Fox Proving Grounds. And that battle will continue, as you saw there, almost Plouffe about to go over, saves it at the end. Ives now trying to keep that momentum going. Real battle going on behind. Drew Schultz was in there for a while.
And Schultz putting in a really impressive ride until just about this point.
Then they would have the restart. Ives gets the jump going into the first turn, but watch this. Ross Robinson makes basically the pass of the race, gets up the inside to take the lead, able to still do the double coming out of the corner. He takes the win, and he talks about it with us.
Places where we've been running a lot, you're actually way faster than kind of taking your own line, and you have to be smart behind guys. If you have tear-offs, you can get clear vision, and just trying to figure out where the track's fast and go have fun and keep the car on 4 wheels.
So the 22-year-old from Sisters, Oregon took race number 1. Race number 2, a furious start as the track had started to dry out a little.
Yeah, you see the track definitely starting to dry out, the pace picking up. Josh Herron there getting past. Ives there trying to sneak around Robinson. Herron having some more problems. On board our Lucas Oil shot. Yeah, you see Rzr Dobbs. He would go over. I think with the track drying out, the guys were trying to figure out how hard they could push it. Great little battle there for a podium position as it got pretty chaotic later in this moto.
Andy Ives, though, paced himself in a fight with Drew Schultz. Take a look at this. Andy Ives just rocketing himself right in the middle of that double, but not giving up. An unbelievable run right here.
Yeah, just beautiful through the Walker Evan whoops, and then some contact coming out. That gave him a little bit of a buffer. Schultz just pushed all the way to the end. Really impressive drive. Andy Ives just doing enough. Hey, it's for the win. These guys were wheel to wheel for virtually an entire lap, but in the end, Ives able to come through and take the win.
What a fantastic and fun race for Andy Ives and Drew Schultz, wheel to wheel, all the way over that finish line. Jason Plouffe managing to hang on for that third place, but the story there, Andy Ives, 3 wins for him in the season. That gives him a very convincing championship. And Georgia managed to catch up with our new champion, Andy Ives.
Starting from the back, the inverts are always tough, but we made it happen today. Got a little bit lucky here and there, and then Drew and I had a good battle at the end, so it was one of the most fun races I've had in a while.
With the Pro-Am Championship decided, our Sedona Tire Celebrity X Turbo races would take to the track. Jim Beaver leading the points as they came into ERX.
Yeah, but he's got a lot of competition. Ash Waskop, keep your eye on him. Jesse Miller in there. Damon Bradshaw was fast at the opening round, just couldn't keep it on 4 wheels. If he can figure that out, we're going to have an exciting race.
At the front of that race, the number 15, Jim Beaver leading the points. The 6:15 of Hubert Rowland in second, and Hubert got just a blazing start.
Then you see here a bit of a stack-up chain reaction problem for the 251 there. That is Ash Waskob. He was able to get going again. So Hubert was out front with a comfortable lead. And once again, problems for Damon Bradshaw as our E3 spark plugs shows us that onboard going nowhere. And then this was the battle for the lead. Waskob up the inside of Hubert Rowland. Hubert tried to fight back.
Big surprise here. Ash Waskob, who was subbing in for an injured Nate Wessel, put in just a phenomenal drive, and the points leader, Jim Beaver, off the side of the track. Hubert Rowland also out of the race, and problems for Jesse Miller getting stuck on the Sedona Tire Rzr Ridge left the door open for rookie Ash Waskob to take that win. And oh my, what a win it was. Over 2 laps ahead of Jesse Miller, and Ash Waskob caught up with Georgia.
I was pretty comfortable. It's first time in a car. I've never been in a Polaris. I do have another machine, but I think I'm going to have to get one of these now because it worked awesome. The DeWalt Black Rifle coffee machine worked excellent out there today.
Can Ash Waskob spoil it for the rest of the Celebrity X class? Well, we'll find out when we come back to Terracross. Welcome back, folks, to the WPS Fly Racing 2017 Terracross recap presented by Polaris Rzr from here at ERX MotorPark. And there were some challenges on the course this weekend with the weather and, of course, the indigenous creatures, Grant.
Yeah, there was a lot going on. Drivers just catching up. Little change in weather. See Bradshaw going over some notes. Hubert Rowland in a chance to potentially get his first championship, but he would definitely have to fight off a bunch of hungry other drivers.
And this guy on the front in that DeWalt yellow and black machine, Ash Waskob, a huge surprise in the last race, beating out everybody for the win.
Yeah, he had a great race there. Hubert out front, he would be there briefly, and then a little mistake over the Sedona Tire Rzr Ridge. That opened the door for Waskob. He looked good. Then Jim Beaver having some problem, really rutted out there. And then Damon Bradshaw, as we have a look at our Odyssey battery on board, if it wasn't a mechanical or a crash, he just had no luck whatsoever. But Waskob dominating the weekend, winning both of the races here at ERX. Hubert Rowland will take second, Jim Beaver third. Rowland gets the championship, but Ash Waskob gets the win. He's with Georgia.
I've done many different motorsports. I seem to do very well at them, but I definitely did not think or expect to walk away with 2 wins.
Waskob came in and just blew the doors off with 2 wins, but Hubert Rowland wins the point standings by 3 points over Jim Beaver, who was leading coming in. Georgia caught up with Hubert.
I made a mistake in the first time. That's my fault, so I figured I was just going to go as hard as I can the second time.
With 3 championships already done, our Odyssey Battery Pro XP Turbo 1000 would take to the track with Californian James Hill leading in the points.
As we have a look at our Odyssey Battery starting lineup, Colt 2 on the front row next to James Hill, Nortman, Lubert, and Olsen. This is sure to be a good one. These are the guys with all the horsepower, the turbos.
And off the start, it was a great race for Colt 2. But Jason Lubert this weekend would charge hard to try and get himself another Terracross championship.
And you see Coutu way out there. Then the 991 of James Hill would be in second for a while. See these guys getting on the gas early, and then Hill had an opportunity to take the lead from Lubert. You see Lubert with mechanical issues at front tire all the way over, leant over, and then eventually it put him over. Just watch. Just the camber of that right or that outside front wheel just buckled and bent, and basically the DNF could have proved costly towards a championship.
But a good run for James Hill, who then got into a lot of traffic. Colt Coutu managing to screen through. Look at this, three-way racing, and it left the door open for Lucas Olsen.
James Hill would go out of the race with a mechanical. And Cole Coutu getting stuck in that section. We've seen a lot of issues throughout the weekend. That opened the door for Mark Notman, who would finish up second. So great podium result. But the winner, Lucas Olsen, takes his first win of the season. And this track really ate up these drivers. Second place, Notman. Coutu rounds out the podium. And we caught up with our winner, Lucas Olsen.
I see all my buddies telling me you got a big lead, then I started slowing down, then I'm making mistakes. So, I mean, it was a good race.
After the carnage of the first ERX Pro race, it was time for a championship hunt to begin, and Jason Lubert in the yellow #1 was pushing early.
Oh, he was. At times it looked like these guys were on the ragged edge, and then he makes his pass on Notman. Beautiful power slide up the inside and still able to get over that big step-up double. Lubert just looked like he wanted to end this season in fine style. Maybe the championship might be out of the window, but then problems for Lucas Olsen. He would get it fired back up.
But this race, Jason Lubert, who surprisingly had not won a race all season long, trying to hold off Cole Coutu and James Hill. A very tight race there for these three, but it would be Lubert who would take the win after a fantastic drive around this muddy ERX track. Coutu gets second, Hill third. Lubert would catch up with Georgia Lindsay.
Just drive accordingly and, try to, not do anything crazy. Cole was catching me. I just had to kind of keep my pace and hope for the best.
Well, Cole didn't manage to catch him, but he would take the championship by 5 points over James Hill. Lubert had to settle for third. Cole Coutu was down with Georgia Lindsay.
I just kept going and trying to keep up with Jason and tried to make some lines and try to make something happen. Wasn't able to. Jason was running good, but yeah, huge thanks to my sponsors, Hayford Ford, Fly Racing, Polaris, everyone, Walker Evans Shocks, huge thanks.
Next up are shootouts, where all the racers take to the track at the same time. It's crazy, and you do not want to miss it.
Terracross on CBS Sports Network is sponsored by TerracrossRacing.com. Affordable entertainment television. By E3 Spark Plugs, born to burn. And by Lucas Oil, made in America, sold to the world.
Hello everyone and welcome back to the WPS Fly Racing 2017 Terracross recap presented by Polaris Rzr. Tess Sewell here alongside Grant Langston, Georgia Lindsay down on track all season long. And coming up are our shootouts. This is one of the funnest things we do at Terracross, where all classes of racing get a chance to be on the track at the same time.
Yeah, a little bit of organized chaos, however you want to look at it, but the most entertaining race because there is so much action going on between passing, crashing, mechanicals. See all the ladies, they're on the right-hand side of your screen. Jolene on row 1, Darren Meese alongside, Sarah Price behind her. Great weather, great conditions, great way to end the day's racing.
And this, the pro women versus the pro-ams in equally matched machines. And the women in a line on the right there, the boys in a line on the left. Darren Meese got a great start.
Yeah, he got out front early and then he would go off track. Saw a little carnage in the background. Sarah Price then would take the lead. So the girls holding firm early on, and then she would sort of come to a standstill, get going again. That opened the door for Jolene. As we see the Odyssey battery on board, Jolene having a great battle there. Meese up the inside.
And you can hear a problem there with Jolene Van Buet as she comes to a stop in the corner and Meese runs past, and then Ross Robertson, check this out, flips all the way over, hits the pedal, and continues racing against Darren Meese.
Oh, that was pretty remarkable right there. Only losing one position, and then Andy Ives, he would have a rollover on the outside, going into that right-hander. And at the same time, Jolene had more problems apparently battling to find the correct gear. See, it stalls, gets it in the gear. She puts the pedal to the metal, gets out of the Sedona tire, Rzr Ridge. See there? Just a little high stand in the background. That was Ives going over, so almost simultaneous problems for both drivers.
And here we see this battle continuing between Robinson and Darren Meese. And Robinson, wild driving, door open, his cage is bent from flipping, but he does not want to give up.
That was a exceptional pass around the outside, just powered through. That was good enough to take the win, but the battle would rage for second. Coming to the finish line, at first we were not sure who got second, but because of the timing loop at the bottom, Darren Meese was able to hold off Lucas Olsen to round out the podium.
In the Pro Women versus Pro-Am, it was the boys who would take the win, and they lined up again, but this time added the XP turbos into the mix. Everybody on track for this crazy shootout race.
That is a lot of vehicles out there. You know it's going to be carnage. One thing we've noticed too is the finishing rate is very weak in this sort of race, and we believe because there's a lot of contact and a lot of things that seem to happen. There you see the turbo lineup. So we've got the celebrities, everybody in there. This is who is the fastest. Can the ladies redeem themselves? And Sarah Price gets off to a great start, but Ross Robertson, he turns over in the first turn, which created a pileup, so they would restart the race to give everyone a clean shot into that first turn. Once again, Sarah Price grabs a whole shot, then the celebrities and turbos go.
So a little bit of a gap between the XP 1000s and the turbo machine. Damon Bradshaw off the track again, so not much fun for him, but look at this. Jason Lubert, this is an absolute madman, multi-time Terracross champion. How on earth does he find his way through the traffic? But it didn't matter. A mechanical problem would take Lubert out of the race.
Yeah, that was unfortunate, but it's just the flying the flag out there. And then you see Andy Ives comes up on a rolled vehicle. He has to back it up. But Sarah Price keeping it strong out front. Jamie Lubert behind, and the ladies will get it done with a 1-2 finish. Ross Robinson able to round out the podium for the guys, so a little respect there, but wow, what a great drive for those ladies.
Then we move to ERX and the muddy conditions for our final shootout of the season between the XP 1000s and the turbos. Ross Robinson sitting on the front of the line there with Jamie Lubert. They get to go up first, and then will be chased down by the turbos just a few seconds later.
Yeah, you can see the daylight starting to dwindle. This track was muddy throughout the weekend, and the craziest race is about to get underway. It's the final one of the weekend and probably going to be the most exciting.
Great start for Jamie Lubert in the 525, and then the pack of wild dogs of those Pro Turbos started chasing, and this is what happens to Jamie Lubert in the middle of the race. And Ross Robinson, who constantly seems to have his doors open, starts charging.
Yeah, he was going well. Then you see a problem. Andy Ives came down hard on that front end, twisted it up, was unable to continue. And look at this. Lubert just slicing and dicing through the pack. Coming from the back, Josh Heron. He was on his side once again, but Robinson takes the win. Lubert put on a great charge, just ran out of time, and Ash Waskov rounds out the podium.
We hope you've enjoyed this season of Terracross Racing as much as we have, and we look forward to seeing you back here in 2018 for something even bigger. For Grant Lanston and Georgia Lindsay, I'm Tess Sewell saying thanks for watching, and come back to Terracross.